All right, so this is a good one. I came across this just, it looks like this court case happened yesterday, on 9/11, 2024. And this is like WWF. This guy brings it on the judge. The judge tries to be the normal, wisecracking, condescending judge, but dude brings it, man. The dude brings it. And I wanted to just set up my computer so I can go through this like piece by piece because this was amazing. Anyway, let's get back to it.
Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. Today has finally arrived. As today, I finally get to cover one of my favorite judges to watch, Judge Fleischer. As he had a sovereign citizen in his courtroom yesterday, and he was absolutely ready to destroy him. So let's begin.
Good morning, Mr. Emmetum. Do you have a lawyer today?
No, representing myself.
You were charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. It looks like you also, out of the same charge, picked up a fraud as well. Okay, you can represent yourself. That's your absolute right. I don't know how smart it is. Have you ever represented yourself
Yeah,
before?
many times.
And how did that go?
I have many dismissals.
For what kind of cases?
I had a dismissal on unlawful carry before.
And you represented yourself
Yes.
in this court?
Harris County.
Just on the PC.
Oh, well, I found
Look, he said, yes, I have many dismissals. Many dismissals.
no probable cause. That's why I got dismissed. You didn't represent yourself.
I was representing myself, but the judge did find no probable cause.
I found, was it me?
No, it wasn't you.
It was
Well, I don't know. I think it was
June
you.
9, 2022.
I found no probable cause.
I think that was you.
You didn't represent yourself for nothing, man. I did it. No. Okay. So, well, you can hope and wish and dream, whatever.
I'm sure you can already see why I like Judge Fleischer so much. He calls it as he sees it. And right now, he sees a crayon eater who wants to represent himself.
If you want to represent yourself, you're entitled to do that, right? But, while I like to tell people it's like brain surgery, when you need brain surgery, when you need heart surgery, are you going to do that on yourself? Because you're not trained, you don't know how to perform open heart surgery. Same thing with the law. You're not trained in it. I'm assuming that you didn't go to law school, did you? How far did you get in school?
I graduated school. I went to some college.
How far did you get?
2 years I got certificates. Not through college, but I went to school.
Okay. So we're in the middle of trial now. And so I don't have the time to go through all of what they're called Faretta warnings to see whether you should represent yourself. I'm happy to do that. Why don't we delay it off a week? Are you working at this time?
Yeah, and I stay in Austin. I don't live in Houston, so
What do you do for a living?
I have my own business.
Doing what?
Resell clothing, audio production.
How much money do you make a month?
I can't tell you, but it pays the bills.
You're very cryptic in all of your answers, and not only that, but
You're very cryptic in all of your answers. But do we not get cryptic responses from the judge all the time? Like, I wouldn't be answering all these questions if I was him. I would not be answering any questions. Like, where's the prosecutor? Shouldn't they be talking to the prosecutor? You ever notice how the prosecutor hardly ever says anything? Anyway, let's continue.
you going to Austin, if you represent yourself, you're going to have to meet with the DAs on a constant basis to get evidence. So that's going to require you to come here to Houston quite a bit.
I was ready to file my motion today if I needed to be.
Okay. Before I do that, though, I need to have a Faretta hearing. If you're willing to wait, we can do that a little bit later when I take a break in trial.
I had my other case upstairs the same day. The judge from when I came to my
Have you
last
been up there
hearing.
yet?
No, I haven't been up there
Okay,
yet.
so go up there. When you're done, come back down here. Don't forget to come back. If you don't come back, I'm gonna issue a warrant. Go take care of yourself upstairs and come back.
So it
You see how the judge is? Like, just take note on how the judge is acting. He's kind of the guy, being condescending. Just take notice of that.
At this point, the defendant heads off to another courtroom so he can deal with his other matters. After that, he returns for his Feretta hearing, which is essentially a competency exam to ensure that he has the ability to defend himself.
Are you ready?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. All right. So today is September 11th, 2024. It's approximately 12:25 p.m. We are now in court 5. In front of me, I have
Let's just point something out really quick. A Feretta hearing, they're basically doing a competency evaluation that he knows what he's talking about and he can quote unquote defend himself. Like, first of all, who are you to determine that? Second of all, shouldn't all of the codes and regulations and all that stuff be available for everyone? Right? Everyone in there has a bar card. Everyone in there has a bar card. That's why they want to stick the bar card guy on you. They're bar card buddies. I can't remember where I got that from. I think that's Alphonse's group. But they're bar card buddies, right? That's what they want to do. They want to stick you in. And just notice on how this guy tries everything in the book, to force this, try to coerce or compel this guy to get a lawyer.
Eaton Emitum, case number 2522688. Would you please identify yourself for purpose of the record?
If a man eats on Amazon,
Would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? That you're going to tell the truth. That's it.
I wouldn't go under oath if no one else in the courtroom is going under oath. You know what I mean? You're the only one under oath, no first-hand knowledge. I mean, if no one here has first-hand knowledge, no one can speak on it for the record. That's why the judge is always talking. I mean, but he doesn't do it. But let's just watch. I'm sorry. I'm gonna quit. I'm gonna quit.
Yes? Okay. State, would you identify?
Well, I drop on behalf of the state.
Okay, so the reason that we're putting this on the record now is Mr. Emitum has been charged with the offense of unlawful carrying of a weapon. The case is 40 days old. It appears that probable cause has already been found. I don't know if I did probable cause on this, or if I don't know if another judge did, because I don't remember Mr. Emitum, and I was out a week. Yeah, lollygagging. So let's just do it first.
On August 2nd, 2024, officers observed a car without a front license plate, changed lanes without a signal, and have expired registration as of March 2023. Upon approaching, officers smelled marijuana. PC search returned 4.17 grams.
This guy's speaking facts on the record. He looks like he's the prosecutor. Yeah, I believe he's the prosecutor. He's speaking facts on the record. Objection. I believe it's Rule 602. You have to have first-hand knowledge. I believe that's what it is. Yep, the need for personal knowledge, right? I'm trying to see if I could pull it up here. I'll edit this out. Okay. Rule for Rule 602, need for personal knowledge. A witness may testify to a matter only if evidence is introduced to support sufficient finding that the witness has personal knowledge of the matter. Personal knowledge of the matter. Evidence to prove personal knowledge may consist of witnesses' own testimony, their own testimony. This rule does not apply to a witness expert testimony under Rule 703. So you can't come in there and speak, well, the judge said this or the defendant said that, the police said this. That's hearsay. Anyway, let's continue.
And a loaded Smith and Wesson handgun. Additionally, there was a backpack with 3 checks that did not belong to him. Officer called Kumamoto, who said the checks were stolen from her restaurant on July 8th. When defendant broke the front window, went to the back where the checks were kept in the office, broke the hinge of the back door and exited.
So as a result, because of that, he was charged with felony fraud on that one,
That's
on the
correct.
check. Okay. Yes, he has an open case in the 182nd. Looks like he made a $15,000 bond. With us, I am going to find there's probable cause to go forward. Well, hold on a second. We'll get there. I'll let you
Who's
say your
charging
piece,
me
but
with fraud?
do you have a Texas driver license?
I have a US dot private property number with the FMCSA. What my vehicle was on there, it was sticker tags, everything with my business, the Amazon.
He's charged with fraud for having some checks, fraudulent checks, apparently, allegedly, and then they unlawful or illegal possession of a firearm. I might have missed something there, but what does that have to do with having a driver's license? Objection relevance? I don't know. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I missed it.
On the states. That's what the Department of Transportation.
Is that from the state of Texas or from where?
This is federal. This is with the Department of Transportation.
Okay, no, but you still need a Texas driver license and you need registration and
I did
on
all
a
my steps
vehicle.
with them because it was private property that I had. They said I didn't, if I didn't need to get registration with the state of Texas because I registered it. And they said that would be my voluntary, but since it's private property, I wouldn't have to register it.
Okay. From what I know of the law, you need a Texas driver license to be able to drive.
This is, what jurisdiction is this case being tried on? That's what I'm trying to, because I'm kind of don't know what it's being tried.
From my understanding, you need a driver's license to drive in the state of Texas or whatever state they're in. I'll be happy to accept. Could you just provide me with any statutes and the obligation to perform under that? Because first of all, you're telling me I need to have a driver's license. To me, when I hear the word need to, I hear compelled to perform on an obligation. Now, what subjects me to that obligation? Because if there is nothing that subjects you to that obligation, that sounds like involuntary servitude. They can't compel you to do something without your consent. Let's continue.
Tried on
It's
criminal, civil,
criminal, yeah, right? You're facing jail time, right?
I believe so. But
Weren't you taken to jail?
yeah,
So that wouldn't lead you to believe it's criminal, right?
yeah, but under common law or is it military and
Were you taken to jail? Well, that leads you to believe that it's criminal. You see how he's trying to lead him down the path or down the railroad? Well, I guess so, Your Honor. Well, no. There's so many elements of a crime. If you're telling me that's criminal, I need the definition of criminal in the context in which you're using it, sir. And any relevant statutes that I can use for reference so I can go look it up for myself. Him asking you, that sounds like criminal, right? He's looking to me, he's looking for an agreement. So never answer that one. I wouldn't answer that. I wouldn't answer that one. This is not legal advice, of course, but
Because also with
Oh, I've
the
been waiting for something like this for so long. This is so much fun.
Yeah, it's about to be a lot of fun, and I think the last thing that any sovereign citizen wants to see is a judge who laughs at him in his face and tells him how much he's been waiting for this moment.
I'm just trying to see this on what I'm being tried on, because what I was told with the US side, I wouldn't have to register with the state of Texas with the registration or licensing. I do have my own place with that vehicle too as well. So
You need a license to drive, a Texas driver license. That's it. You either have one or you don't. The federal government has regulated to the states through the Constitution that they have allowed the states on their own initiative to create laws regarding driving on highways and byways. So that's why you see every single state has different requirements for licensing, insurance, mode of transportation. The federal government has somewhat to do with it, but by and large, they have delegated to the states that they are their own entity with regard to creating laws in their specific highways. So that's why every single state has a different type of license, different type of insurance. Like the Texas driver license is white versus Arkansas might be yellow or red, or Hawaii might be. So that's every single state has their own laws with regard. In Texas, you have to have a Texas driver license. You also have to have liability insurance as a minimum in the event that you get into an accident.
So this judge is like just spewing a lot of statements onto the record that if they'll stand, they'll be admissible, they'll be considered, especially from him, the judge. I would be, well, sir, I object. Well, no, not that I object. I can accept that, Your Honor, right? But you said you need to have a license. Could you define the word you? It seems elementary, but define the word you. I looked this up the other day. Let's look at it. Who can be issued a social security number? Let's see where that was. USC, there it is. All right, let's go to CFR. All right. And this was what I was at the other day. Okay. It says, we can assign you a social security number if you meet the evidence requirements in 422-107. And you are. And you notice that you is highlighted. So let's check out what you means. Okay. Just move this over a little. You means an individual who owes a debt to the United States within the scope of this subpart. Within the scope of the subpart is someone who can be issued a social security number. If it's used in that subpart, I mean, this is what I'm seeing. So it's like you got to know like each and every word that they're using has a meaning that's completely different than what you know it to be. Can you define license? Can you define driver? Can you define motor vehicle? On and for the record. So, well, sir, this is why we want you to have a lawyer, because these are legal questions, and I don't want to give you legal advice. I don't need legal advice. I have a certain understanding of these words. I can provide my definition for the understanding of these words. And if there is no rebuttal to them, well, then we're in agreement to what the words mean. But I don't think they'll ever do that. That's like a bill of particulars. You put like definitions. I need definitions, terms. I need names, everything. I need to know the nature. I need to know delegation authority. I need your nationality. Just keep questions, answering questions, and they can't answer them.
Those are the two main requirements that you need to drive. If you're going to drive a vehicle, it also has to be registered so that
Again, this is just what I would do. This is just what I would do. Not legal advice or anything like that. Please, if you're, you court, seek counsel. Seek counsel, because we all have the right to counsel. But I digress. I'm gonna shut up now.
they know that you're driving the vehicle and that you own it or have the right to have that, so it's not a stolen vehicle.
I own the vehicle and everything. When I was here the last hearing with the judge, like what he was saying, he said that when it had applied to me, but he was going to see what they were going to say about the other court about the probable cause of stopping me, because he said registration when it had in the front license plate when it had applied to me.
It does apply. It applies to everybody. Everybody has to have a back license plate. They also have to have a front license plate. And so much, they also tell you where it has to be on the car. They regulate, you can't put it in the windshield.
State, right?
State,
Yeah.
right. They tell you where it has to be. You can't.
Uh, Objection, Your Honor. Who are they? Who are they? You keep referring to these they. Who? And from where do they derive their authority to tell me what to do with my private property? You're telling me that I need to do these things. That sounds like I need to compel on an underlining obligation. I need to see that obligation in writing. Can you produce it? They can't be telling you what you need to do and what you need to do that. Am I your slave? Can you produce any evidence that I am your subject, compelled to perform on this obligation? I need to see that. Because who are you? I don't even know anyone in this courtroom. I've never met you, bro.
Can't put it on the windshield. You can't put it on, like on what's it called, on the light. It's got to be right there. They even tell you how many centimeters it's supposed to be from the street to the actual place on the car. That's how bad the state of Texas micromanages all these things. They even tell you how many damn centimeters it's got to be on the car. So you have to have a front license plate. You got to have a license, got to have insurance. So if you don't have that, you can't drive. And that's it.
Yeah, I did tell him I was traveling. I wasn't arguing with him, but I was traveling. I wasn't making commerce. I used to do medical transportation, so I'm kind of aware with licensing and
I'm starting to get kind of tired with this whole right to travel versus driving thing because these courts are not going to honor that. I wouldn't even bring it up until get the definitions. I would get the definitions, and outside of that, I wouldn't bring it up anymore. And that's fine, sir. If you could prove in any way that I was driving, which you probably gave him a driver's license, so they're going to go with that presumption. I mean, it's just so crazy. But if I need to do this, need to do that, need to do that, I'm either your slave or your subject. Your subject meaning I gave my consent. If I have no consent, then I must be your slave. I mean, I'm just asking questions here, right? I don't want to violate any community guidelines. I'm just asking questions because this is my understanding of it, right? Maybe if there's a lawyer out there, Nick, Mike, these guys who come on, please welcome, come up. Because if I need to do something, I'm either your subject or your slave, right? Uh, the 13th Amendment, Section 1, neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except for as punishment for a crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, due process, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Congress shall have no power to enforce this article by appropriate as legislation. They can't write the law to do it. So they must have your consent to do it. Or they charge you with a crime. So I'm in Georgia. So let's see what the Georgia definition of crime is. Georgia considers a crime a violation of a statute of the state in which there is a joint operation of an act or omission to act and intention or criminal negligence. So I say if you're driving without a license, they probably call that criminal negligence, but it's an act through joint operation. Now, what the hell does joint operation mean? Let's see what joint operation means. A joint operation is a legal arrangement, right, where parties share control of an operation and have a direct rights to the assets and obligations for the liabilities. The parties involved are known as joint operators. The joint operation is different from a joint venture. Investors have rights to the net assets of the arrangement. Joint ventures are often involves establishing a separate legal entity. A joint venture, a joint operating agreement is a legal document that can be used for any type of joint venture. It can help protect entrepreneurs from problems and can include an understanding of each partner's responsibilities, a definition of how decisions will be made, a description of what happens if there is a disagreement. So if there is a disagreement, that's why they read you your charges. They read and then they cite off the penal code for the penalty, and then they ask you if you understand. If you say, well, yes, sir, that constitutes an agreement. Just take it slow. This is how I understand it. I'm not giving legal advice here, people, right? Please, lawyers, let's discuss this. We have the right to assemble, I have the freedom of speech. I'm just spewing out what I've gathered, and by no means take this to heart, okay? This is for entertainment purposes only. I love you. All right. Come on, mute button.
Registration and everything. That's why with my private vehicles, I did that with the US DOT instead of the state. And I didn't know that was
Correct. You need a license. It doesn't matter whether you're saying you're conveying, whether you're traveling, whether you're, driving. It's a privilege. It's not a right, right? There's a big difference between a privilege versus a right. You have the right to walk.
I have the right to travel, don't I?
Yeah, taking your happy-go-lucky feet. You want to travel, take those 2 feet to travel, not in a car.
Just what the 14th Amendment was saying, like I have the right to travel.
You do, yes, and you can walk your happy ass from one part to the other part. Not in a car, though. Not without a license and insurance.
Damn, Judge Fleischer just not in a car or behind the wheel of a vehicle. Now that's cold-blooded, Judge, and I love it.
From what I did this with the Department of Transportation. They said automobiles were on there, carrier, bicycles.
They're wrong. I'm just telling you now, they're wrong. Whoever told you that, whoever, where you got that, it's complete. Because imagine this, Mr. Emmett, and I've seen this before. Imagine that you get into an accident, right? And you kill a 5-year-old kid. What's going to happen at that point? Whoever owns that car, the other people, they're going to come after you. They're not going to go after they're going to come after you. The first thing they're going to do is, do you have insurance? And if you don't have insurance, they're going to sue you. And then they're going to attach a lien on absolutely everything that you own to satisfy the judgment they get against you. And they will take your house, they will take your car, they will take
It's funny he brings this up, right? Because this is exactly what the states does whenever they bring a charge. My understanding, if I'm wrong, please let someone let me know. From my understanding, when you get a charge, right? When you get a charge, they're placing a lien on your estate. That's why when you go into court or you want to say, "Oh, I want to clear my name," clear your name of what? Clear your name of all liens, so you can move freely and encumbered, right? But it's funny that he says that. Oh, they're gonna put a lien on you, just like that video I posted with the judges in family court saying that sovereign citizens are placing UCC liens on them. That's what he's talking about. But what he's not addressing is the fact that everybody, before they have any loss of life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness, there must be due process of the law via the Constitution, right? This is the Sixth Amendment. We don't have to bring that up. We know that one, right? So before they can put a lien on you, they need to, you need to have your day in court, essentially. I mean, you could go up there and say, I plead guilty. But the thing is, who's bringing the charges, right? So you get into an accident with someone else. You get into an accident with someone else. That person has to make a claim against you. Now they call the police, and the police shows up and tries to find some sort of a crime that he can charge you with. Outside of that, it's all civil. Outside of that, it's all civil. But that cop's gonna show up and try to put some charges on somebody so the state can get involved. Now, if there was no crime, it's all civil. I ding your car, you ding mine. Now, somebody gets killed, somebody gets hurt. Well, this is where the grand jury comes in. Because within the state, this is how I understand it. It's just some district attorney that's bringing some. Now, what gives this attorney the unfettered right to just bring charges against you? What gives them the right? I thought I had to be judged by a grand jury of my people to be given a formal indictment from the people. Nope, it just goes through this district attorney, and we all know how district attorneys are. With a stroke of my hand, I could ruin your life. What a certain former district attorney, just on her own discretion or his discretion. Anyway, let's continue.
Your bank account, they will attach to where if you ever want to start working and get a paycheck, they're going to garnish all that money. You have insurance, liability insurance, so that if you ever get into an accident, you don't mean to do it. You didn't mean to kill the kid. It's not an purposement. It's an accident. And accidents happen. You might be looking at your phone, you're looking at, this pretty girl that's walking across the street, and then boom, you have insurance so that if that happens, the insurance company will pay on your behalf so you don't have to pay out of your own pocket. And they will even give you a lawyer to represent you on your behalf because that's what you pay for when you get insurance. If you get into an accident, lawyers usually call you and say, hey man, tell me what happened. Was it your fault or was it the other people's fault? Because we want to know who to pay. And that's why for $30 to $40 a month, you get insurance for that very purpose. And I've seen people come here, they have killed someone and they get a $250,000 judgment against them. I've seen it. And God, you'll never dig yourself out of that. So the conveying, the this, that.
Now, this is obvious. Obvious fear tactics, right? Now, who says 250,000? That number. Do the victims come up with that number? Right? Because you realize you could go to criminal court and get completely cleared of the charges and then go to civil court and then do the thing all over again. Where does the crime come from? Here's the thing, right? It wouldn't be it wouldn't be murder. It would be vehicular homicide or something like that. It's a commercial term. Manslaughter, I didn't mean to do this, but hell, I should be accountable for it. These things should go through grand juries and not just a district attorney, right? You should answer to it. However, just the stroke of a pen from one individual, that doesn't make sense to me.
You need a license. You got to have insurance. And we do it with every single person that comes in.
Can I say for the unlawful carry, the possession of marijuana, the person that was in the vehicle told the officer it was legal hemp that they got from the store. They have receipts and everything in Texas. You can have legal hemp. They got it from the store. He even told the officer it was theirs. He pulled me out the car. He didn't ask for any paperwork.
Now you're making the apples and oranges, right? Now we got to test it. Is it weed?
Oh yeah,
Is it hemp? Understand that takes time, but you also need a lawyer to represent you.
I found my own discovery. I was representing myself pro se.
And you can do that if you want.
Yeah.
But we have to go through a series of questions.
I represented myself plenty of times. I had dismissals here from
Remember, and for purposes of the record, so Mr. Emitom had a case with me here. It was actually June 7th of 2022. He was charged with another gun case, and that was with Victoriano. God, that was a great DA too. And I found no probable cause in that case, right? So you didn't represent yourself in that case. I found no probable cause and they dismissed it. They didn't have to dismiss it, but they did dismiss it. So other than that case, have you ever represented yourself?
Yeah, many times. I have dismissals all through different Harris County. Traffic violations.
You're welcome to do it, and who's one of the worst, who's one of the best presidents that in history that you can think about right now?
Beautiful to me right now.
You can't think of one good president that we've ever had?
I don't know any.
Abraham Lincoln, he wasn't good?
I never met him. I don't know about him at that time.
Abraham Lincoln said something. He goes, you know what? He who represents himself has a fool for a client.
And an idiot for a lawyer.
A loaf of bread costs 50% more today than it did before the pandemic. Ground beef is up almost 50%.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
Introducing DonorBox CRM, your all-in-one AI-powered donor management partner.
Meaning that when you represent yourself, there is an inherent conflict and there's an inherent bias. There is an inherent conflict. Meaning that when you represent yourself, there is an inherent conflict and there's an inherent bias, and you may not be able to see things objectively, meaning that you have your heart, you've got your soul into this case. So you may not be able to see from an outside position if they're saying something that makes sense. You're absolutely entitled to represent yourself. And if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to it. And I have no problem with you doing it. You need to understand though.
Do you see this? He's trying to play mind games on this guy. Of course he's going to be biased towards him. Why wouldn't he? You're going to be biased towards the state? Obviously, everyone in that courtroom is biased against you. He's talking about a conflict of interest. Let's see. His commission worked for the state. The prosecutor's commission works for the state. The cop commission works for the state. Clerks, bailiffs, everyone in that building works for the state. You want to talk about a clear conflict of interest? Jeez.
If you represent yourself, you can't come at a later day and say, you know what? I had ineffective assistance of counsel. My lawyer sucked. Well, you represented yourself. You now can't complain about that. If you go to trial and you lose, and I end up putting your butt in jail for a year, you can't complain. You're stuck like Chuck for a whole year because that's what you're facing. You're facing a year in jail, and you got a bunch of
seems like threat. This is like coercion. This seems like intimidation. Are you retaliating against me because I refuse to take one of your carrying friends as my counsel? I'm not going to give over power of attorney. Not doing it. That's what they want. They want power of attorney. They want to be able to speak for you and sign for you. Why would you give anyone that power? I'm just talking here, right? Freedom of speech, right to assemble. Let's talk about it, people. What do you think? Say no advice. I'm not, by any means, I ain't telling you to do nothing. Don't go out there and do some stuff you seen me say, because I ain't nobody. I'm an idiot.
Other documents too that, so,
My discovery from that last month that I
well,
filed.
let's do the question. So what is your full name?
Eton Cheese Roque Amaton.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 34.
Where were you born?
Objection. Full name. Are you looking for my legal name or my given name? Where was I born? New York Republic. Date of birth? It's hearsay. He says America. I think I like that question. I'm a born American. That's what I would say. But he's soliciting information from this guy, and you can see, like, as it keeps going, how this guy just tries to get an array of agreements from him. Watch how many times the judge says, "Do you understand?"
In America.
Were you born here in Houston? Were you born in?
From Texas.
Okay. You read and write English, right?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any learning disabilities or communication handicaps? Have you ever been declared mentally incompetent or treated for any mental health disorder? Okay. You said last time I asked you about your educational background, you graduated from high school.
Graduated high school, some college.
How far did you get in college?
About 2.5 years.
Did you do any legal courses whatsoever?
Left that and I started doing medical transportation. I was taking classes for paramedics. I was just doing my basics. I was doing my basics.
Studying in college?
I was just doing my basics. I ain't getting into it.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. And when you're beginning, that's all you do anyways, right? Do you have any legal training, education, or experience?
I've had experience with dealing with the court being charged before.
And any other legal? Do you know about the Code of Criminal Procedure?
Yeah, I'm familiar.
Do you know about the Texas Penal Code?
I'm familiar, but I'm not too familiar with a lot of statutes and codes.
Were you here for our earlier trial?
No, I went up.
I know you went to the felony court, but we were in trial earlier. Did you see what happened in trial earlier?
I had like a glimpse of it walking.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is that the lawyers on both sides had to introduce evidence. There's a specific procedure that you have to follow to have evidence admitted. It's detailed in the codes. You have to know that because once you represent yourself, I'm going to treat you as if you were a lawyer. I will hold you to the same standard. And I'm not here to put you through law school because I have way too much drama as it is. I don't need any more drama.
Well, I would love to accept that, Your Honor. But could you just provide me those standards that I'm going to be or held to? Can you provide those standards to me in writing so that I can study for them and prepare myself and to get a full understanding of the proceedings, right? I'm going to hold you to these standards. What standards? Could you tell me what standards there are and where I can find them? I mean, they speak in a lot of generalities here, and no one ever contests it.
Right? So if you don't do it the right way, I'm going to shut you down. Right? I like to be nice to people, but I'm not taking you to school. Do you understand this? Do you understand the charges against you?
I don't understand the nature of it.
Okay, you're charged with unlawful carrying of a weapon. You're facing up to a year in jail. What they're saying is that you unlawfully had a weapon. As a result, you were charged.
What they are saying. Who is they? Who is they? And can they be brought? I'd like to face my accuser. I need to be able to face any witnesses that are bringing any claims against me. Who are they, Your Honor? Who's they?
And now you're facing up to a year. Do you understand?
Yeah, what they're telling me, but I still don't understand like why I went to jail for that. So that's why
What do you not understand?
the court procedures or
No. I'm asking about the nature of the charges. No, it's not. Don't talk about the procedure.
Well, first of all, have you ever heard of a bill of attainder? I thought I was supposed to have my day in jail, in court. Placed on my name right now? I feel like I've been punished before I had my day in court. Now the judge, or excuse me, the police officer should have brought me straight to you so I can answer to these charges. But that never happens. They gotta wait till those charges turn into a security, don't they? I'm not sure if that's true, but I'm not making any statements here. I'm just talking because I don't know you know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? This is a really good case. Put a like in the comments, like, subscribe, whatever if you're enjoying this, because you can see how the judge now is like he's not being condescending or anything. He does threaten, but he's threatening in the form of a warning, so he can kind of stay in honor. You know, you gotta see the trickery they have, man.
Don't talk about the licensing, about the conveying.
I know
No,
I'm getting charged for unlawful carry. And
right.
the
Do you understand that?
yeah, what's going on?
Okay. You have the right, or you understand the range of punishment that you're facing a year, correct?
That's what I've been told.
Okay. You have the right to court-appointed counsel. Do you want counsel to represent you?
I don't want legal advice. I don't need a legal team. I just want law.
If I
Let's shut down the lawyer thing. Let's shut down appointed or trying to get a lawyer. Again, I would like to make it irrevocably clear that I will not be signing away power of attorney or accepting any court appointed attorney or any bar card carrying attorney for that matter. I want to make this on and for the record irrevocably clear that I am not accepting any lawyer to speak on my behalf. I am a man, I speak for myself. Okay? Do you understand, Judge? Sometimes you gotta ask the judge, does he understand or she? Do you understand? On and for the record. Because this is getting to a point where he's harassing him, he's coercing me. Judge, you seem to really want me to get one of these attorneys. Now, if I get an attorney, that makes me the attorney's client. What is not? Now, what is a client? In legal terms, let's bring this up. In legal terms, a client is a person. A person. What's a person? We can get into that. Or entity that receives services from a professional, such as a lawyer, accountant, advertising. A client can be also a person that employs someone to conduct lobbying and activities. Client lawyer. A client is not always the same person who pays for the service. Client and contract. When a client engages in professional services, they typically sign a formal contract that may include terms of service, billing information, and privacy acknowledgement. The person who employs or retains an attorney, a counselor, to appear for him in court, advise, assist, and defend him in legal proceedings, and to act for him in any legal business. I can't find it where he says it's the ward. And let's just continue. I don't want to keep going here. But, there's a contract here, and there's terms and agreements there. And you better be reading that. And I bet you whatever document you sign to accept a lawyer, you're going to see the word waive all throughout there because you're waiving all kind of rights for the benefit of having someone represent you. That's a benefit of the court. I don't want any benefits. I waive all benefits and retain all rights, reserve all rights.
Offer you a lawyer now, would you want it? You really don't want a lawyer?
I represent myself. I could get none more by myself than anyone representing me.
And that comment right there is exactly why you shouldn't represent yourself. You seem to believe that you know what's best for yourself. And that inherent belief that exists in all of us is what gives you an unavoidable bias that will cloud your ability to defend yourself.
Okay. Do you understand that you will not be able to claim ineffective assistance counsel if you lose at a later time, whether it's in trial, whether it's in a hearing, whether anything? Do you understand that? What that means is that you cannot appeal this thing. If you're found guilty and you go to jail, a lot of lawyers or a lot of defendants like to claim, sorry guys, I'll be 2 minutes. A lot of lawyers, a lot of defendants like to blame their lawyers for screwing up. And they say, hey man, my lawyer messed up. I can tell you, that's the number one thing that defendants complain about. And probably, I don't know this for sure, but I would suspect probably the number one reason why cases are overturned because of ineffective assistance of counsel, meaning that a lawyer, for one reason or another, messed up so bad that their cases have to be redone. You cannot complain about that at a later time.
I've seen that many times. That's why I'm representing myself.
But you can't, if you mess up, you cannot appeal this thing. Do you understand?
Do you understand? Are you telling me you're trying to get me to agree to waive my right to appeal a ruling on the record? What you're asking me? For when do I not have the right to an appeal? Just because I chose to represent myself? Pro per? Wow. So he's trying to get him to agree to not even being able to appeal on the record. This is what I'm seeing. Anybody else seeing that?
Once and if you are found guilty, that's it. Do you understand? You also have to comply with the same appellate procedures if you lose, meaning that if you want to appeal for one reason.
I have to. There goes those standards that he's holding you to. Well, if I have to provide these standards in writing so I can review them and get a better understanding so we can come to an agreement and move forward. You keep telling me I gotta do all this stuff, man. I don't gotta do nothing. But, take care of myself. I don't even like the black word, but stay real and die, you know what I mean? And take care of my business. It ain't my business. Y'all bringing me down here with dudes with guns. You're telling me I need to do something. Am I your slave? Am I your subject? Which one is it? I thought I was innocent until proven guilty. Really?
To the other, you have to understand the guidelines and the timing, and you have to comply with those rules as well. Do you understand? You will not be granted any special consideration because of your lack of formal training. Do you understand this? You may fail to properly raise points
I don't see him saying yes to these.
of error in the trial record if we go to trial. Meaning that if we go to trial and you object to something, because you hear that a lot, right? I object. This shouldn't be in there. You have to object properly. You can't just say object. There has to be more to it. You have to state the reason for the objection. It has to be a legal reason. You can't just say, I object, and expect me to hold something out. You have to give the legal reason. And there's a proper method that you have to state and ask me to do things for it to be recognized on appeal. And if you don't know this, you cannot at a later date complain. Well, I didn't know that. You understand? You still don't want a lawyer. I will give you a free lawyer. Is this voluntarily, knowingly, and intelligently made? No one's forcing you to do this. Okay.
No. He said, is no one forcing you to do this? Someone is, Judge. You are. You are. The prosecutor is. Everybody in this courtroom is. I don't want to be here. Look at the guys with guns behind me. You kidding me? Is anyone forcing me to do this? You are. Say that next time. I'm here under threat, duress, and coercion, sir. I'm not doing any of this intentionally. I'm only doing this because you're going to throw me in jail. You've already threatened me like 4 or 5 times today during these proceedings.
Knowing all this, are you sure that you still want to represent yourself? I got to tell you, I think that you look like a great guy. You look like you're upstanding. I have no problems that you represent yourself. Understand that you need to be careful what you tell them, though. Everything that you say, even if you think you're hurting yourself by admitting one thing or the other, you could be hindering your case, meaning hurting your case, even if you think you're helping.
See, like he's trying to be your friend. He's not your friend. He wants that power of attorney over your estate. He ain't your friend. You want to do this? Look, man, I really tell you, man, Abraham Lincoln says a fool only represents himself. I gotta tell you, I mean, you're looking at a lot of time here. You're looking at a lot of time here. You sure? You know what? Let me get you a lawyer. Standby lawyer. He's not doing anything. Just make sure you sign this little here document. All right? Listen, guy, I don't want you to go to jail. You seem like a good guy. You seem like a good guy. Get the fuck out of here.
Yourself. Do you understand? I'll make you a deal. If at any time you want a lawyer, all you got to do is ask and I'll give you one. Really. If you ever feel like you're under the gun, that you feel like someone's taking advantage of you, I'm happy to give you a lawyer at any time. I want you to understand now, as a condition of your bond, though, I'm ordering you not to drive until you have a Texas driver license and a liability insurance. I'm ordering you not to drive. And I'm going to have you sign with me today an affidavit promising me you're not going to drive. If I find that you drive,
First of all, who is you? Second of all, who are you to order you, in that context, me, that I can't drive? Can you give me written delegation of authority that gives you the power to tell me what to do? I'm not going to accept that. I can accept that if you can show me any delegation of authority gives you the jurisdiction to tell me what to do. I'm a grown ass man, bro. You gonna tell me now? You got these guys with guns. Are you telling me that if I don't do what you tell me to do, you're gonna send these guys with guns against me? It doesn't sound lawful, sir.
going to put you in jail. Do you understand?
Travel, I have personals.
Okay. You are not allowed to get into the driver's seat of a car and drive, convey, travel, however you want to term it. You cannot do that. And if I find that you do that, I'm going to put you in jail and I'm going to make your bond so high, your head's going to spontaneously combust. Do you understand?
If that is not a threat, so that's a threat followed by a "Do you understand?" I can understand. You could say on and for the record, sir, that was not a clear threat to my well-being, my safety. And furthermore, I need to see some sort of a delegation of authority to tell that gives you the jurisdiction to tell me what I have to do. Period. Now that might sound sovereign, right? What? 13th Amendment, people. The 13th Amendment. You are not compelled to perform involuntarily. So if this is not involuntary, it must be voluntary. I need proof that I volunteered for this. Really, I need consent. Can you prove consent? I need it. Because this is getting crazy. You just gonna tell me up in your little blue suit what I'm gonna do. Come on, bruh.
That waiver my rights to anything or?
No, but I'm telling you that you can't drive, convey, get into the driver's seat of a car. If you do, you're going to go to jail because I will revoke your bond. Do you understand?
I would say yes, he understands. But that really depends on how much sniffable superglue he's consumed this morning. And as much as Judge Fleischer is really pushing the point, he just doesn't get it.
Chevy trucks with power you can count on. Capability that doesn't compromise. A hard-working EV with more range than any competitor. And the potential to take you anywhere. Chevrolet, together let's drive.
To complete projects quickly, client collaboration is crucial. But when you're sharing and receiving client files through email attachments, storage sites, internal file servers, and even old-fashioned hard copies, working together just...
The only conditions I'm putting on you now are 3. No weapons, no picking up new cases, and don't get into the driver's seat of a car and drive, convey, travel. Are there any other adjectives that you can think of?
I'm sure there are.
I do believe those are verbs, not adjectives.
But
I guess I'll put et cetera so that it tries to cover any type of wording, so to speak. All right. So, Mr. Ematom, I'm going to find that you are okay to represent yourself. We need you to sign a form that you're going to do that.
Even if I don't consent to any of these charges, because I do have my paperwork, I do have.
If you don't consent, just go. If you don't think we have jurisdiction, look, if I didn't think anyone had jurisdiction over me, do you think I would be here? If I was in your shoes? Hell no, man. If I didn't think that.
Hell no, man. Well, who you, Chris Rock now? If I don't show up here, you're gonna put a bench warrant out for me, aren't you? And then you're gonna send some armed men to come drag me in here. Hell no, man. You think if I wouldn't even get out of bed that morning. Let me put a bench warrant on you then and hire a bunch of goons to come pick you up. This is so stupid, man. Like, how can people not see this? This is what I see. I mean,
That someone didn't have jurisdiction over me to be anywhere, I'm not going there. I'm not going to get out, take a shower, put my clothes on, because I like to be naked, right? I'm not doing anything like that. So if you don't think we have it, just go. Otherwise, you're here. We do, right? Because if you,
I don't know. That's why I filed.
let me ask you this. If you just took off now, what would happen? There you go. What does that warrant mean? What does it mean?
On, or what do you mean as far as like the warrant?
As far as jurisdiction is concerned, do you think that an officer is going to go out and actually pick someone up if they didn't think they had jurisdiction to do it? Do you know how much trouble they would get in? Do you know if Stephen went out there and arrested someone now just for shits and giggles, do you know how much trouble he would get in? Right? If he had no reason to do it, do you know how much trouble he would get in? Right.
yet it happens all the time. It happens all the time. That's why you guys have old ones to protect and indemnify me from any damages I might incur throughout these proceedings. Okay? Do you know how much trouble? First of all, a bench warrant is not an arrest warrant. You have to, they can't come looking for you on a bench warrant. I don't know. I don't know. I had a bench warrant for 9 months. They never came looking for me. But had they pulled me over, oh, did you know you had a warrant? This is why we have the right against unreasonable searches and seizures. They want that license because they got all that. They got all your information there. Pull you up. Oh, you got a warrant. A warrant for what? They ain't hurt nobody. Come on, man. If you want to talk like Chris Tucker, come on, man. What's wrong with you? This is ridiculous, man. All right, let's continue. Sorry. It's like 30 minutes left, so I'm gonna shut up and then save my comments for the end. Unless something's really good, right?
A lot. He'd lose his job. He'd probably get sued, right? Can't claim immunity. He'd be toast, Swiss cheese. So that's what I'm saying. If you didn't really think that we didn't have jurisdiction, then go.
But I had to take care of this matter because if it
Because you know we have jurisdiction.
I don't know, because I was going to go to 515 arrest and file my lawsuit, my civil lawsuit with the officer who did arrest me because they did some unlawful, unconstitutional things that they did to me at that time. So I was going to take it there. You know, I didn't believe they had jurisdiction over me.
I would wait to see how this case goes first before you do that. You know, see how the case goes first before you start jumping the gun.
Like that's what I was waiting.
You know, but ultimately, you know, if I didn't think anyone had jurisdiction over me, I'm not going to go there, man. I have enough important things to do in my life as it is. I mean, you've been sitting here since 8:30 in the morning, where it's now nearly 1 o'clock. You know what I mean? Really.
Finally, a judge who breaks it down and explains it in the simplest terms so that even a sovereign simpleton can understand it. If you leave, what will happen? If nothing will happen, then clearly the courts have no jurisdiction over you. But if you get arrested and put in jail, then the courts do have jurisdiction over you.
Let's get this thing done. That way you can move on with your life. We can move on with our life and just everybody be happy. That's what it's about. All we want to do is protect our city. That's all we want to do, you know, and I'm going to do it at all costs. That's it. All right. I'm going to have you sign this affidavit. After that, we'll get you out of here. And so, Mr. Emitom, you are going to have to make a plan to meet with Mr. Petrov here so that you guys can exchange evidence. This is, he is our chief DA here. He's the one who gets all the evidence. He's the one that's going to present it to you. You can either do it here in court with us, or you can meet with them at their office, because you're going to have to get the evidence to look at it regardless. I'm happy to take any motions that you have now, and I can look at them, and then we can come back at a later date and I can roll on it for you. I see that you have a bunch of papers. I'm happy to take anything that you have, and I'll take a look over it, you know.
The clerk last month. Motion of
Do
discovery.
you see anything?
Hey, I have the copy.
Which clerk did you file it with?
I have it right here, the copy. It was with Marilyn Burgess.
Is that for us?
This is what I always say. Like when you bring your filings, sometimes they be like, "Oh, I can't find it. I can't bring that mug in with you." Oh, not to worry. I have a copy. I can happily read it on the record for you. And I believe that's what he starts doing. Let's get to it. I'm sorry. I still talk. I sorry. Hold on. Mute.
District clerk, right? We would still get it then, right, or no?
Yeah, this is the reason I filed that last one.
You filed it under this case number or the felony court case number?
No, I filed it for this one on August 9th. I have this case number on there, 2522688.
Yeah, that's it. I don't know. I don't see anything. Oh, wait a second. I see a motion for discovery. Is that it? It's a motion for discovery?
Yes,
Is that the only one that you've done?
so far.
Okay. I have to talk to officers and back. If you give me 5 minutes, let me take a look at it. And then I'm going to give you a copy so that you can look at it as well. Let me print it out. Pavel, I'm printing it out for you if you want to just take a look at it real quick.
Alright, at this point, they take a small break so the judge can do judge stuff and the prosecutor can receive and review the motion. And let me tell you something, it's not every day that we get to see a judge read out loud and laugh at a motion on the record. But today, we do.
Get 3.9% APR with 1,000 purchase allowance on March 20th. Please finance through Cadillac Financial.
Motion.
Okay, I'm not gonna let him get away with that. This team skeptic guy. The lawyer went to, oh, excuse me, the judge went to judge stuff while the prosecutor had time to read over the motions. And I agree with some of the judge says. It's a little too broad, but the motions are pretty hardcore. He just needs to be more specific with it as far as what I would have done in his case. But I really like his motions, but what does he mean by doing judge stuff? Now the judge didn't say that. The judge said he had to go speak to the police officer. I guess the judge could do that because the prosecutor's not there, and that wouldn't technically be ex parte. Could somebody in the comments, let me know? Because I haven't been in that situation where the judge gets up to go speak to one of the witnesses. I believe the cop's a witness. There's got to be something wrong with that, right? Help me out here.
Have you read it?
Yes, Your Honor, I've read through it.
And
Your Honor, at this time, the state wouldn't even be able to comply with this order because it's asking for an immediate order of discovery. It sounds like spontaneously going to give
well, other than
the
that,
opposing party.
I mean, and is he asked?
And it's not, the language is not aligned with criminal procedure or penal code. But beyond that, the only two pieces that are requested that are reasonable that I can produce with a timeline are 1 and 7.
So, Mr. Emitom, understand that you will get discovery, but sometimes it takes time. It's not immediate. It takes time to build a case, to get videos, 911 calls, reports from officers. It takes time. It's not immediate. In your motion, I guess it says he wants an immediate
order.
Just no way. We can't.
An inspection. Yeah.
But we will get it to you as he gets it, he will give it to you. I can grant you the order. I will.
As he gets it, they're able to alter it, redact it, and all of that. It's going to take some time to alter the footage, right? Excuse me. I think that's what he's saying. I mean, that's just me. That's how I heard it. What do y'all?
Take off the immediate provision, but I can grant you everything that you want. I'll give you their case file. I can give it to you when they get it.
Yes, but Judge, this discovery order is requesting things outside of the scope of discovery.
Well, I'm not going to give him the kitchen sink. I mean, like what?
Everything else. I mean, so 1 and 7 are aligned. 1 is requesting any documents, papers, books, accounts, letters, photographs, videos, which are body cam, objects or tangible things not privileged which constitute or contain evidence. Of course, I'm going to hand that over.
Okay.
2, any and all names of any witnesses, the Harris County Superior Court, State of Texas.
I mean, that's so broad, Mr. Emmett.
Or any political.
I mean, you want every single witness in Harris County? That's what that's asking for.
You have to properly represent myself for the case.
That's 4.2 million people. Really? Really?
So that doesn't,
I mean, I'm not going to grant that. That's silly.
It's too broad. It doesn't go into just.
Imagine any and all names of any witness for the Harris County Superior Court, State of Texas, County of Harris, or any political subdivision thereof may have. That's so broad that to even try to comply with that would take years. I mean, in relation to this case, yes, nothing else. Nothing else matters. The only thing that matters is this case and nothing else. So I'm happy to comply with the
I
names
can
of
accept that. I can
witnesses
accept
in
that.
this particular case. Yes, I will do that. And I can mark on there for this case only. Are you okay with it?
Your
Yeah,
Honor,
only,
in the event that you were to grant something like that, it would need to be filed by the defendant. That what you're granting is what is written, not what is subsequent.
Look at the prosecutor. He's not used to this. But Judge, wouldn't the defendant have to do that again? I need a new order or something. Judge, I can't do it, Judge. I can't do it. He's giving me too much thinking. I can't think like this, Judge. Get him a lawyer, jeez.
Modified.
Okay, so I
So,
guess
the language just needs to
I'll
be
just, okay,
corrected.
so what I'm going to tell you is, you're right, Joel. I mean, right.
So I just wanted to clarify that for the record.
You're representing yourself. I can't do the work for you, right? He so kindly is reminding me that because I'm trying to, right. So that's too broad.
We can go down the list if you wish, but.
Yeah, let's do it. I mean, we have.
So 3, a true and complete original or certified alleged contract with wet ink signatures between the petitioner, the Harris County Superior Court, State of Texas, and/or political subdivisions thereof may have law states that in order for the Harris County, and it's not even citing law, valid lawful contract between the petitioner, let them bring it forward for petitioner's inspection or immediately dismiss all charges. I believe this is going into UCC. This is not,
I mean, here you're going into the sovereign citizen type language.
just common law.
There you go. Once you say something that they can't produce, they're going to try to discredit it. Oh, that sounds like a sovereign citizen argument. If it's not an injured party, what is forcing me? What is compelling me to perform on this obligation? Obligation. He keeps saying, you need to do this. You have to do this. You need to do this. This is the only definition that I can find for need, right? It's out of Merriam's. Necessary duty, obligation, or what they say could constitute criminal negligence for a crime. Negligence on what? An obligation. What is the obligation? Come on. Was my internet going out? An obligation, an action of obliging oneself to a course of action as by a promise or vow. As by a promise. Something such as a formal contract, a promise, or the demands of a conscience or custom that obliges one to a course of action, a debt, a security such as a mortgage or a corporate bond, a commitment as by a government to pay a particular sum of money. Look at it, guys. It's all here. A condition or feeling obliged or obligated. I felt obligated to vote. Right? But that's your own determination. That's you. A debt of gratitude. Someone bound to do duty, responsibility. Come on, people. I need you to produce that obligation. Where is the underlining obligation? You keep telling me I need to do something. If there's no obligation, then I must be a subject or a slave. I must be a slave, not even a subject. The subject is by your own consent. Let's look up subject. One placed under authority or control, such as a vassal. One subject to your look, you're using the same word to define it, as a monarch and governed by monarch's law. One who lives in a territory of, enjoys protection of, owes allegiance to a sovereign power or state. Vassal. A person under protection of a feudal lord to whom he has vowed homage and fealty. Sounds like consent. I mean, I don't know.
If it's common law, then why are you citing the UCC, which is a commercial code? And I'm sorry, but Texas has very specific statutes regarding driving with and without driver's license. So this would fall under statutory law, specifically from the Texas Transportation Code.
Okay.
So, Your Honor, I will not be agreeing to that.
Here, there's no, you're saying a true and complete original and or certified copy of the alleged is not even spelled correctly, contract with wet ink signatures between the petitioner and the Harris County Superior Court. I mean,
So I'm opposed to that.
what contract?
Contract complaint, whatever. I know this is statutory and it's not going over common law, so I'm not familiar with the statutes like I explained before.
You're a lawyer now. You're going to have to familiar yourself with it.
So try me on statutes. I want to be tried on common law.
You're going to have to do it. I'm not sure. There's no common law here. Everything's done.
He said, what contract? Sir, that's my question. What else compels me to perform? There must be some sort of a contract, verbal, whatever. Can you produce it?
By statute. There's no common law here. It's all done by statute. And since you're the lawyer, you need to know that.
I recognize the steps of the statutory steps. That's why I don't recognize.
So let me ask you this. How on earth are you going to represent yourself if you don't even know that?
So I get everything I need in my discovery.
He's going to give you body cams. He's going to give you 911 call. He's going to give you.
Okay, so he said there's no common law here. He says it's statutory. It's by statute. Okay, let's see what a statute is. Well, let me move this down so you can get the whole thing in there now. Okay, statute, a law enacted by the legislative branch of government. Statute is also an act of a corporation or of its founder intended to act as intended as a permanent rule. A rule of a corporation is also a statute. An international instrument setting up an agency and regulating its scope or authority. Wow. Has anyone ever looked up the definition of statute? How does Georgia, how do the states define statute? Where else could you find it? To me, this is clear enough right here. And I would ask him for his definition of a statute so I can understand the charges. This is crazy.
Witness lists, and that's it. Right? Is there anything else that would be in here?
I would, so there may be dash cam I need to check. So I haven't gotten the body cam or dash cam yet. I need to check what all this.
Mr. Emmett Tom, I mean, let's get real. If you're having problems with things of this very elementary nature, how are you going to represent yourself? I'm happy to give you a lawyer. But some things are just, there's no.
We must conclude this hearing with the remainder of the list as well, and then we can go with
Well, hold on, just so he knows. So number 4, a true and complete original and or certified copies of the criminal record of the attorneys of record, judge, magistrate, pro tem, commissioners, witnesses, as well as all officers of this court. Yeah, that doesn't apply here, really. I mean, my criminal history? You think I have criminal history?
Yes, after watching you rip the soul out of this sovereign citizen by his spine, I wouldn't be surprised if you've left a trail of travelers behind you as you've grown into your judgehood.
And do I need to ask to go to a higher court or a higher court look at this matter, or?
I mean, you certainly can. You can do anything you want to in life until someone says no, right? But I don't know where you're going to get. I mean, appellate courts need jobs too. How far are you going to get? I don't know. How much money are you going to waste? I don't know. A true and complete certified copy of all oaths, commissions, as well as bonds of all officers of the court, including but not limited to deputies, court clerks, judges, magistrates, pro tems, commissioners that have or may decide to involve themselves in this matter, appointed or elected, signed under penalty for perjury on and for the official public record.
State as opposed.
Well, I don't know what bonds you're talking about. What bonds? Like James bonds?
Appearance bonds, bid bonds,
Which ones?
appearance bond, bid bonds.
I'm not familiar with that.
Some stuff for that.
The political affiliation of any and all states, witnesses, and all
I'm sorry, you're not. Calm down. You're not familiar with the bonds. You're not bonded. You don't have an oath of office. With a bond, it could be a blanket bond. You don't know what I'm talking about. Okay. If I get this court case dismissed for any reason, hypothetically, of course, am I not indemnified against any damages that I might have incurred? My time, defamation, I gotta clear my name, I've been thrown in jail. I'm not gonna be compensated, indemnified for any of these damages? Well, you don't have a bond that will withstand these damages? If you don't know what I'm talking about, then I challenge the venue. I can't be in the right place. Do you have an oath of office? Are you bonded, sir? Wow. I'm gonna look up those statutes and come back with that. Holy moly.
officers of the court, so I can't.
State as opposed.
I mean, I really. Any evidence which in any way is exculpatory to the case? Yes.
Anything in state's possession, I'm unopposed to. I will produce anything exculpatory that's in our possession, but regarding the case.
Number 8, documented proof of claim of injury signed under penalties of perjury with all immunities waived from the judges of this court, attorneys of record, the Harris County Superior Court, State of Texas, County of Harris, as well as this court, and for the official record. Documented proof of claim of injury signed under penalties of perjury. So what are you referring to there?
Or the opposing party who made the complaint.
What?
Against me, whoever made the complaint against me, who's the opposing party.
Okay, well, the Harris County District Attorney's Office.
Party they have to complain, I don't recognize who that is.
What do you mean you don't recognize?
Said the state of Texas or Harris County's, what was that?
Right, so they alleged that you did something.
The district attorney. Can I get a name, sir? Can I get a name? A full legal name. Can I get a name? Y'all got my name. Your name? Nationality and status, for the record? To whom do you serve, sir? Oh, man, I wish...
Something unlawful. As a result, the officer arrested you and then brought that information all to the Harris County District Attorney's Office. And then they, in a two-pronged matter, number one, I found probable cause in this case, and then a grand jury indicted you on your felony case. So it's the Harris County.
I haven't been indicted on that. I just came from upstairs. I haven't been indicted on that case yet.
Has it been indicted or no? Oh, well, I mean, they have, I think, up to 180 days to indict you, but
Correct. Not
been indicted yet. Okay. I mean, I guess, would it be the information is that he's asking for? You want the charging instrument, I guess, is what you want.
Your Honor, again, I think it's just
I know that it's
actual misunderstanding, but if it were rephrased correctly, I can better understand what is being asked. And therefore, that's why I cannot agree to this order, because
I get it, but I'm trying to go through it with him.
You hear the verbiage he's using? Isn't that not the same thing we do? He said maybe if he said it differently, maybe the terms, the definitions, I can have a better understanding. Isn't that the same thing we're doing? Is this prosecutor a sovereign citizen? You ain't gonna call the prosecutor a sovereign citizen?
So that he understands.
If it aligns with if it aligns with something I can understand, sure. I mean, I can understand what's being asked and then I can turn it over, but I don't have that. This is not that.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff here, you know,
Yeah, I don't know what's not being understood mostly.
here, let's go through number 13, just because there's a lot here that you got 16 and it's already 130. The CUSIP number tied to this case, which will show that this court and or officers of the court are profiting off this case, and it is trading on the stock market on and for the official public record.
It's not that often that we.
Okay, so, let's get this guy out of here. Okay, he's talking about numbers. What else did he say? Making money, traded on the stock market, all of that. He's making fun of the fact that oh, it's UCC, oh, he's getting into sovereign stuff. Just 2 seconds ago, the judge said, oh, he's asking for the charging instrument. Now, what the hell is a charging instrument? Let's see what the internet says about that. He's looking for the charging instrument. Now, is that charging instrument, does it have a CUSIP number? Does the judge know what a CUSIP number is? Okay, let's move this over so we can see it. Okay, a charging instrument is a legal document that formally accuses someone of a crime. It's a pleading that starts a criminal case and is different from an arrest. Some example of charging instruments include indictments, information, complaint, uniform traffic game, or boating complaint. Uniform traffic. A charging instrument. Let's look up instrument. Instrument. Legal definition. Instrument. An instrument is a written legal document that records the formal execution of a legally enforceable acts or agreements and secures their associated legal rights, obligation, and duties. Contracts, wills, promissory notes, deeds, and statutes passed by competent legislatures are examples of legal charging instruments. Typically, legal instruments must be read as a whole with every part interpreted in accordance with the whole. We can go through that later, and it's not in there. Let me just pull this over a little bit so y'all can see it. All right. Jurisdiction differs on who may draft legal instruments. Most states allow non-lawyers to write their own instruments such as wills, contracts, but do not allow non-lawyers to invade the field of legal practice by charging third parties to draft complex legal instruments on their behalf that secure legal rights. The legal instrument is considered executed once it has been given validity, and legal effect. For example, signing a contract executes the contract. The instrument can then be used as evidence to prove the existence of such acts or agreements. Historically, instruments were not considered properly executed until they had been sealed with a wax or stamped. This requirement simply simplified authentication and enforcement, but today it's been done away with in most American jurisdictions to allow for greater ease in contracting. However, a person who falsifies or materially alters a legal instrument with the intent to defraud another is guilty of a crime of forgery. Ugh. So beautiful. So beautiful. He doesn't know what a CUSIP number is. He doesn't know what a CUSIP number is. But they have a court registry investment system. What are they investing in? Securities? They're looking for a surety. They're giving you a charging instrument, which is an agreement, obligation, duties. All of these could be securitized. I don't know. And they might have a committee on uniform securities identification protocol number attached to it. I don't know. I'm just talking. This is, just for entertainment purposes. But let's get back to
Get to see a judge literally laugh at a sovereign citizen in his face, and with good cause.
I mean, I am the trustee for the name Eton Ematon. Birth certificate's right here. Administrator, I'm the beneficiary for their name. I've been the trustee. I have all my paperwork that I need to prove to the court. I mean,
And that may well be good for
But-
federal stuff, but not for us. This is state.
Not familiar with a lot of statutes, but yeah.
is the state of Texas not a federal district, territory, instrumentality, or enclave of the United government? Through by way of the Buck Act, zip codes, state abbreviations, federal overlays. Are we in dry dock right now? I mean, I'm just reciting stuff I've heard from other sovereign citizens. Don't listen to me. I'm just kidding.
A copy of all officers of the court registration report and profile, which is registered under Dun and Bradstreet on and for the official public record. Yeah, you're gonna have to go through this motion more. It needs to be more specific.
Point, just for the record's purposes, to say as opposed to this motion in its entirety at this time.
So not 1 and 7 then.
Not with immediate, not that language.
Oh, right.
And we're
Okay.
gonna modify that.
So it needs to be more specific. And you need to have a more realistic guideline. They can't give you stuff immediate because he may not even have it in his possession. So I can't order him to give you something that he doesn't have in his possession.
How soon can they get my next trial date? My next court date, will they have it, or how soon?
I don't even know. I mean,
The body cam and dash, I can escalate that by the next court date. The lab, I'm unsure of a timeline at this time. The lab of the substance.
okay. And
So-
I'm going to tell you now, it takes a lot. It takes quite a while to get labs done because, you imagine, we live in a city with 4 million people. Do you know how many people get arrested with alleged illegal substances that have to be tested? You get in line in front of everybody
I
else.
do have the lab results from the store that I got it from. I have the store that is in the lab result papers that they got it from in Houston. So I could submit that as well. If you if it makes it quicker. I know y'all still have to do your
I know
own.
that you're saying that, but remember, there's always two sides to the story.
Sure.
So they need to test what they have to see what that is. And it's going to take a while, but it'll get done. You just be patient, but it'll get done.
At this point, we are pending body cam dash in the lab. That is what
Okay.
discovery is pending.
Typically what we do is we'll set it out 30 days and then we'll just have you come back. And when you come back in 30 days, we'll see where they are. And then at that time, you guys can make a plan to go over the evidence. And you're not going to give him a copy though. He's just going to have to review it.
I believe it's subject to inspection.
Right. So you're going to have to come, bring a computer.
USB.
It's not through VHS, it's through.
I'm unaware. I'll familiarize myself more before the next court date.
Okay, I just realized I was mute there. I'll edit that part out. But this judge right here, you know, in other videos, you can see that once he gets all the do you understand this, or the power of attorney, attorney pointed to the defendant, you will start seeing him. He gets like condescending. He starts cursing, threatening, all the smart ass jokes and all of that stuff. All that stuff comes back because once you agree, you waive all those rights. He has all the reign to just treat you like his ward, his subject, his vassal, and him being the feudal lord, granting you the authority and the jurisdiction or the right to do things, the privilege, excuse me. But I digress.
Of the transfer of.
You're going to probably need to bring yourself a computer that has a CD-ROM, because usually they have stuff on CD-ROM drives or on CDs so that you're going to have to be able to look at it. Any kind of dash cam, any kind of body cam, they usually put it on a CD-ROM or on a CD for you to be able to look at it. The only other thing I need you to do is
A CD-ROM, dude. What year is it? It's 2024. At least bring a flash drive. I don't even have a CD-ROM on this computer. Are you kidding? It's just giving them options, right? You can't give me a link. They gave me a link to download the stuff. A CD-ROM? Get out of here, bro. You see how he's trying to withhold evidence? He's not withholding it. He's making it hard for him to get it. He just needs to rebut it. And he's not doing that.
you to swear to us that you're not going to drive. I am making it a condition of your bond.
I hold that until
No.
I filed some stuff in my paperwork.
Not that he needs to do that. What I'm saying is that's what I would have done in his situation. Can't tell him what he needs to do, not trying to give any advice. I'm not a lawyer. This is just for entertainment purposes only.
I don't drive. I
No.
don't go by
No.
driver's license.
No.
I have my passport that I do go by.
No. I need you to do it now. Okay, I need you to do it, and I'm making it a condition of your bond that you sign the document that you're not going to drive,
I don't want to
convey.
contract or consent say anything or agreement say anything like that because I'm still trying to see the.
I'm going to revoke your bond if you're not, if you don't sign it. I'm going to revoke your bond. That's it.
I got to be forced to sign that. If I don't sign it, I can't have the option to take that paper.
Oh, no, I'm not. You don't have to sign it, but I'm going to revoke your bond.
I have never seen someone work so hard to both stay out of jail and put himself back in jail at the same time. It's simple. You can either not drive and remain free, or you can choose to not contract with the court and face the consequences of your choices, which in this case is a revocation of your bond.
What matter of that?
Well, if you're going to force me, if you're going to coerce me, into signing the document or else put me in jail, I'm going to sign under duress. Sign without prejudice. You must make your intentions clear. Under duress. Oh, well, if that's the case, sir, I'm happy to sign it under duress. Well, aren't you? Well, are you not coercing me, sir? You're not going to let me go home unless I agree to your tyrannical orders? What gives you the right to order me this? You haven't proved jurisdiction on the record. I'm not convinced you have jurisdiction. Quo warranto. Delegation of authority. Oath. Bonds. You're acting like you don't even know what a bond is. And I'm going to follow your orders? Get out of here.
Sorry?
I don't understand why my bond will get revoked because of that.
Because I am ordering you as a condition of your bond not to drive, convey, travel, any way you want to put it, behind the wheel of a car in Harris County, Texas, unless you are properly licensed with a Texas driver license and liability insurance in your name.
And liability on my cars. I go by my U.S. passport now. I don't go by my Texas driver license. I don't go by licensing anymore. Not commercial.
Nevertheless, I'm having you sign a document that you understand and that you promise that you're not going to do it.
I don't understand it fully, but that's why.
If you don't, that's okay, but I am going to revoke your bond. And that's it. Correct.
Are you forced to sign this right now, or it's like, because
You don't have to sign it. You know the consequence.
I've never heard of it. So I'm just-
Clear coercion. You don't have to sign it, but I'm going to throw you in jail if you don't. That, sir. I will sign under duress. Do you understand? Put it right back on him. Put the ball in his court. I'll accept that, sir. As long as you can accept me signing under duress with a full reservation of rights. He's giving you a condition you can't accept. Accept it conditionally and throw it right back at him.
You're hearing it now. If you've never heard it before, you're hearing it now.
I'm not going to speak.
For the entirety of the case.
I mean, I could get my driver's license to show.
If you do, if you get your driver's license and show me that you have.
I'm not a commercial driver. I don't engage in commerce. I don't do it.
Do you think that the 5-year-old kid that gets hit and killed in a car, or the 69-year-old grandmother that ends up paralyzed from an accident, cares whether you were conveying, whether you were in commerce, non-commerce? Injuries don't care whether you're conveying.
I can accept that, Your Honor. I can accept everything you just said. Upon the condition you can tell me what relevance me killing someone have to having a driver's license. Why are you bringing up killing, murdering, and injury? This has nothing to do with injury, loss of property, or anything. You're forcing me to sign a contract. UCC 1-308. I cannot be compelled to perform on an obligation that I did not enter into, knowingly, intentionally, and voluntarily. And what you're trying to do is force me to do that. Earlier, he asked him, are you being forced to do this? Why won't you ask him that question now?
Whether you're traveling, accidents happen, whether you're conveying, whether you're driving, whether you're traveling. That doesn't care, right? When you get into an accident, it doesn't matter in what method you're doing it. An accident is just that.
I can accept that, and I agree. But what does that have to do with having a license? What does it do? You need that bond, don't you? Huh? Social. Because how else could you charge me without that social? This is what I'm thinking he's talking about. You need that driver's license. You need to be bonded and insured while you're driving around. Just in case a statute ever comes your way. All right. Maybe that's what he's talking about.
And if you have an accident, I want to make sure that the other party will be taken care of. I'm only asking you to follow the law. I'm not asking you to split the atom here. Great.
Break the law or any of that, but
Great.
I don't
I'm asking you to
engage,
sign this. If you don't, you don't have to, but I'm gonna revoke your bond. That's it. And Mr. Emeton, if you get a Texas driver's license and you get insurance, I will take this deal off.
That's what I believe in, and that's believe the Constitution. I don't, was it,
Yeah, well, you can believe that paper has nutritional value, but it doesn't mean that if you eat a ream of it, that you're gonna not die. In other words, change your belief system because it's wrong, it's detrimental to your health, and it sucks.
That's okay.
they trying to apply that I need to get a license and insurance when I used to be a commercial driver for the state. I don't commercial drive anymore. I don't do medical transportation. I'm just a
Did you hear
citizen.
what I said about an accident, about whether you're
I
conveying or
understand
traveling?
exactly what you mean about the accident.
Okay,
I know if I was to get on the accident road with no insurance, I could get sued and it'll be a civil matter and I go to jail. I understand that. That's why I travel very cautious. I don't.
Would be a civil matter. Let's see how he responds to that. That's a civil matter until the cop shows up and charges you with a statute after getting your license. The civil is all civil. Now, if someone's hurt, if 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 someone dies, I mean, to me, geez, it's still civil. Still civil. But, for it to be a crime, it has to go through the grand jury. But they still need that driver's license. They still need that before they can hit you with any statute. There's no equitable remedy here. It's all statute. It's all legislative. It's all rules and regulations. Excuse me. Let's continue.
you just said I drive.
I'm saying I
I
travel
drive.
very
You
cautious.
said the magic words.
I was a driver.
Come on, don't be Helen Keller. Come on. And I'm trying to protect all of Harris County.
I'm not an
You're protecting you. I'm protecting all the 4.2 million people here. That's what I'm doing. Because if you get into an accident, I know that you're not going to be out a dime out of your pocket. But all those other people, they're going to be out a crap load of money. And I'm going to do everything in my power to protect every single person of Harris County. And I don't care if I offend you. I don't care if I make you mad. I don't care if your sensibilities are upset. Don't care. I don't. All I want is every person protected. And that's it. And I'm doing what the law requires. I'm not asking you to do anything that's not outside the law. And you, acting as a lawyer, should be able to look it up and see, because it's all in the transportation code. So you can sign it. If you don't, I'll have you meet with Stephen. That's it.
I just want my rights reserved.
They're reserved.
I'm leaving my rights to the court.
No.
Signing that's waiving my rights. It's a contract. It's me.
What right are you waiving?
My right to travel. That's infringing my right to travel with the Constitution.
No. Take the
14th.
Dodge Patas.
14th, I don't know what that means.
Happy trails. Use your feet. You can travel with your feet.
Yeah, I can, but I live in Austin. I don't live here in Houston.
Take a bus. Take an Uber. But I want to make sure.
You see the force? The force that he is inflicting here. This is called involuntary servitude. Now, you can't be subject to that due process of the law.
If you're caught driving, I'm going to put you in jail, and I'm going to make your bond so high you will spontaneously combust, because I want you to understand that I mean business and I'm protecting every single person I can. And that's it.
This is the whole concept of democracy. He's got to protect everyone for you potentially causing a crime. Your rights are infringed upon in order to protect the public, the mob, where the republic is all about individual rights and sovereignty. Democracy is the whole. Republic is individual. Sir, I can't be concerned with the public. I put myself before the public. As you put yourself in this court before all matters else. It's under the guise that he's doing a noble thing, but you can't violate my rights in order to protect other people's rights. It goes against the fundamental principles of the founding. I hate using the founding fathers, but what this nation was built on. The zeitgeist of the times, the thoughts, the minds, the rhetoric. It was individual. Look, man, you take care of yourself, I'll take care of me as long as I don't hurt you and you don't hurt me. We good. If it ain't wrong, then I have the right.
This is right now.
No,
Ready to meet with jail or arrest if I don't sign this. Right
correct. That is correct. That's correct.
Imprisonment if I don't sign this. This is on the record.
It's on a record. I have a report right here. And it's on video.
So as you can see, his entire belief system is nothing more than a LARP. He's only doing all of this so that he can be the special one at the family dinner that he's not even invited to. Because when it all comes down to it, he accepts the jurisdiction of the court and he doesn't have any problem contracting with him so that he can stay out of jail. Now before we get out of here, Judge Fleischer had to call him back in to ask him a quick question about his signature.
Okay, Judge, go ahead. Okay, so we're back on the record in 2522688. I had Mr. Emitom sign an affidavit promising us he's not going to drive, travel, convey in a car. And he signed it as, it says EC, is that right?
ECE.
ECE / all rights reserved, UCC 1-103. Is that your signature?
Yes.
Okay, I'm still gonna hold you to this if I find that you drive. And I'm gonna tell you now, you will end up going to jail. Do you understand?
Yes, I just want to reserve my rights. That's all.
Understand, I'm gonna hold you to it if I catch you driving. It's gonna go sideways real quick. Okay, good. All right.
He needs to put on the record, under duress. I've been coerced and forced to sign this document against my will, or I'd be subject to involuntary servitude. There are codes against that. There are codes against that. I don't feel like looking it up right now, but I have it. I'll put it in the comments. How about
Raise your right hand. Do you swear that you will not drive any motor vehicle without the court approval? Yes. Okay.
Done. Done. Have a great.
All right, man. That was fun. If you've made it this far, I want to thank everybody for checking it out. This is my first time just doing this actual face to face and all of that. It's been fun, and I'm probably gonna do a lot more, especially if it gets a good reception from the people. But this is just, I mean, I watched this and you can just see how this judge is just really trying everything, one, to get him to come to an agreement to his terms. I would recommend, if I was this guy, I would not recommend or advise him to, but if I was in his position, I would use conditional acceptance more often. And you see how at the end he had to bring him back, despite what he signed on that document. He had to get it on the record. So he started the record back. Do you understand? Do you understand? Right? I guess novating that agreement to that affidavit that he signed. And I believe it's VC Vicocus. All right, UCC 1-308. The 103 one was the old one. You got to use 308 now. I believe that's true. And just, entertainment purposes only, not speaking facts or anything. I'm just talking. But anyway, thank you guys for coming through, man. I love you to death. And look out for some more. Y'all be good. Love.